Hello people of the world, if you are new here, my name is Brunel. If you are not, then you already know who I am, so welcome back. So this is an eye makeup tutorial for those of us with huge eyes. The kind of eyes where when you turn sideways it's like they're looking as if they want to just pop out. The kind of eyes that gives you lots of real estate, lots of landing space. Yeah, those kind of eyes. But they come with creases and they usually have lots and lots of skin there. And you always struggle to try and work out what on earth you're going to put on your eyes. If you can put some colors, what can you do without looking like a drag queen? Now, if you're a drag queen, don't come for me, but that's not the look we're going for, so that's why. Now, I am still learning. I am going to continue to make mistakes, but that's life and that's makeup. And if it goes wrong, you just wipe it off. So today we are doing a copper gold smoky eye makeup look. And the eyeshadow palette that we're going to use is this one here. Bing, 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 bing. This is the Be Perfect collaboration with Stacey Marie. This is the number 3, so this is a third collaboration, and it is a huge palette. But it is one of those palettes that's really, really good. It's got lots of bright colors, really well pigmented. Look at that. You've got your greens, you've got your purples, you've got your golds here, and a few pinks as well. So it's really, really well pigmented with lots of shimmers and allows you to create a whole bunch of looks. We're going to try and keep it smoky but simple today. So without further ado, let's get started. Ding, ding, ding. First item we're going to do is use this. This is the P. Louise Eye Base in number 8, shade number 8, Rumor. And I'm just going to apply that all over my lid. See that? So the eye base is in place, and what I tend to do is go over it with a brush that I've used previously for powder or anything like that. So I don't add any powders to it, but it would have had a little bit of leftover. So I just tap that on my eyelids just to make sure everything is nice and dry. So the first shade we're going to use, we're going to really keep to this brown column here. And I'm going to start off with this shade here. This is Ginger. And I'm using, this is a Morphe R34 brush. It is big and fluffy, but it's not the biggest one. And the reason why is because I don't want it to be too wide, because otherwise it will take the product far too high, too close to my eyebrows, which will be a no-no for us with big eyes. So I'm going to tap that into the shade, and I'm tapping it about 3 times to make sure that the brush is well and truly saturated or covered. Get rid of any excess. And when I've actually discovered also with my eyes is when you touch above your crease line, you've got the actual bone there. That's what I use as my guiding point, because what I found is when I don't keep to that, then the colors go too far up, and then when I blend them, they're too close to the eyebrows as well, which is an absolute no-no, and it doesn't quite work. So I'm going to start from the outer corner of the eye. And part of the reason why I'm starting from the outside in is because I want the concentration of the colors to be from the outside. So I'm just blending that and following the bone. And as you can see, I don't know if it's visible, the color, well, I'll build it up, but the color kind of comes slightly higher, but it's not too high, which is really what you want. So be mindful of the brushes. I'm learning as we go along, so be mindful of the brushes that you're using. If you were going for just one shade all over, then actually I would say don't worry too much about how wide the brush is. But because you're using other colors, it's a good idea to be more careful. Now I'm looking downwards and just following that bone structure. And you can see that the colors are buildable. The colors are so pigmented in this eyeshadow palette. So next shade we're going to go for is this one here, which you can call cacao, cocoa, cacao, whatever way you want to pronounce it. This one here. And that one, I'm going to keep it in my crease line. Now I've got here, love these brushes. This is the Morphe M200. And my mic is very sensitive, so you might hear my belly rambling over there. So mind your own business. So with that, I'm just tapping in with that color. And the brush is all covered with it. And again, I'm going to start from the outside, and this time around I am actually going to go in my crease line, but the brush is sort of slightly pointed but still wide enough to be able to take the color into just above my crease line as well, so you can blend the two shades together. And look at that. Look at the pigment. Wow, absolutely brilliant. I'm just going to keep blending into crease line. And also what I'm going to do is actually cover my whole lid with this shade. And part of the reason why I want to do that is because I want to make my eyes look slightly smaller by putting a deeper shade on your eyes. Dark colors make things look smaller, brighter colors make things look bigger. So especially when we're trying to kind of reduce the size a bit of the eyes, then that's why I'm using the darker shades most of the time, or I'll keep things really simple. So I'm just applying that all over my lid and tapping it. So I'm going to cover my whole lid space. And what that does also is it will make any shimmer shades that I put on top really pop. So now we're going to move into a third color, the final matte shade, which is going to be the black in this shade, which is called Black Beach. And it is really super black. That's that one here. And this one, we're going to mainly concentrate it on the outer corner of the eye, but we're going to bring it in a little bit as well, just to smoke things out, and also to, again, the emphasis being on making the eye look a bit smaller than it actually is. And that's why I'm going to go in with that shade. And I'm going to go in and I'm going to use a, ooh, this is another Morphe. I've got loads of Morphe brushes here. This is another Morphe brush. This is the Morphe R39 brush. And I'm just going to tap very lightly. I'm going in. I'll put in 3 taps. And because it's black, we really don't want to go too mad with the black. And I'm just going to start tapping that on the outside. And you can see the effect that has. And we're just going to spend a bit of time blending it inward and keeping it in a crease line as well. And I'm feathering it as I'm bringing it more towards the center of my eye, because I still want the outside to be the darkest part. And we're just going to go nice and slow and build that up. The thing with black is that black is scary, but the thing about I find difficult with black is when you're using black, you have to really spend quite a bit of time blending it in, and you need to go slow, because if you've got too much, then it's really hard to then at that point control what you're doing. I've learnt the hard way. And now I'm just going to bring it probably about halfway across the eye, and then I'm going to tap back in. I probably only want to tap a couple of times and no more than that. Yeah, I'm happy with this. We're going to go with the shimmer shade now, and I'm going again with Rum, which is the copper gold sort of glitter shade here. And I am actually going to concentrate that mainly on the center of my lid, and I'm going to tap that to make it look diffused. I want it to look diffused because I want it to be soft. I don't actually want to go for a cut crease. Cut creases, again, I know I'm talking a lot, but this is a bit more to do with eyes. I find, for me anyway, cut creases are not my friend, and they usually are not your best friend when it comes to big protruding eyes. So if you want to soften the edges a little bit and make it look more diffused, so I'm going to use my finger and I'm just going to tap that more towards the center of the lid, just to give it a hint of color. And I'm going to take it slightly inward, but what I want to do is sort of blend it in so that it doesn't look too just solid, like a solid shade. I want to blend that in, but I'm going to use a brush in a moment just to diffuse everything, but I want to concentrate this just in the center. And because of the big eyes, you need to also sort of shut your eyes when you're tapping this, and then take it a little bit higher, just above your crease line, because otherwise what happens is when you look down, if you don't do that, then it looks as if half of your eyelid has not been covered with the product. So that's why I tend to take it a little bit higher. Okay, so one trick I use is a flat brush like this. This is actually an e.l.f. concealer brush, but I'm going to use this. You can use any flat brush that you want. And you can either dip in or not dip into the shimmer shade. But what I tend to do is I go in and I just kind of go sideways with the brush. And I sort of just diffuse everything to make it look a bit more natural. So that it's not just one straight line. It's a bit more diffused. I just don't want it to look very straight, as if this is where the shimmer shade starts and this is where it ends. We don't want that. We just want it to look a lot softer. So what I'm going to do is go and do the rest of my face off camera. And I'll let you know what products I've used, because this is about the eyes, to be honest. Yeah, so I'll see you guys in a mo. Alrighty, lovely people, this is the finished look. Bum 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 bum. Right, so quickly run through. Underneath the eyes, I used exactly the same colors, 3 shades. I went through. I went with the lightest first, all over the bottom end of my eye. I really should have shown that. I do apologize. And then I went to it with the deeper shade, and again went underneath, and then used the black to blend the outer corner, and then just brought it sort of halfway across my eye. I didn't bring it all the way in because I wanted to give it that kind of graduated kind of smoky look, similar to the top end. And that's that. You can use any eyeliner that you wish. Kind of obviously use a black eyeliner, my waterline, and then of course did a wing liner as well, which is, I do that all the time. For skin, I actually went in with a foundation, which is the NARS Soft Matte Foundation in New Caledonian. It's almost perfect, but not quite. But yeah, it's the closest match I'm going to get, so that's that. And then for concealers, I used 2. I first of all went in with the outer edges, or the main part of my face, on chin, nose, and so on. I went in with the Oma Beauty Stay Woke concealer. This one is in, oh God, I can't actually tell because it's too yellow. I think it is, hold on a second. Oh my God, it is so brown sugar something. Sorry, is the markings come off, unfortunately. But I like this one because it's not too bright. And then on the inner bit where I've actually got the dark circles, I actually used the Stay Naked concealer. This one is in 70 and yellow, NY, which is for yellow. I used that just on the inner bits, just to really brighten that area. And then for powder, I then used this Charlotte Tilbury's airbrush finish powder in number 4 deep, and from bronzer, surprise surprise, Charlotte Tilbury again bronzer in number 4. Love these 2 products, they are just amazing products. And then for my cheeks, I actually went in with this is the Tammy X Revolution Paradise Glow palette. Yeah, so I used this one. I used this particular shade here, the Tropical Queen, the bright orangey type shade here on my cheeks. For lips, brown lip pencil, and then I went in with this. This is one of the new Fenty Cream lipsticks or lip glosses. This one is in Honey Waffles, so I used that on my lips, and I think that's it really. So what do you think? It's kind of smoky, but not too much. It's got enough brightness, yeah, so it's about choosing small muted colors really. But when it comes to big eyes, you can still get away with bright colors. Listen, if you want to use bright colors, that's for you, that's fine. But for me personally, I just find that they just make me look too garish. So you can still use glitter, you can still use shimmer. You just might need to pick the shimmer colors much more carefully and go for the deeper shades, or use 2 shades where the deeper one is on the outer corner, so you always kind of smoke things out a little bit so it's not too bright. Okay people, Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please do comment below, like it. It makes a difference to the algorithm with YouTube, and you should then be able to recommend it to other people who may also have big eyes that they need to actually do, you know, do makeup on, and they might learn something back. Stay safe.